Yes. I've wanted to do this for a long time. All my life, I've never had the need to create anything. That's why I've been so intrigued by the notion of building a sandcastle. Even if you fail, you can always try again. You can always rebuild it. It's quite forgiving for someone who's a beginner like me. How about the Semekai Mansion? You never know until you try. I know that place inside and out, like the back of my hand. Theoretically speaking, it should be the perfect starting point for me. Shall we give it a try? It's all about attention to detail and patience. In fact, I think there are some similarities to the process of brewing tea. Would you like to try? Here, come sit behind me. Let me guide your hands and teach you. There's no need to rush. Take it nice and slow, as if you're caressing the sand with your fingertips. You're doing well. Let's try making a gap here. You're doing well. Let's continue. That's right. Yes. The previous head of Semekai was my father. I inherited it all from him. Ever since I was young, long before I became a NIKKE, I grew up within the organization. I had want for nothing, and had a peaceful childhood, free of any difficulties. To me, the organization represented the entire world. A perfect world, prepared for me. I knew we were involved in activities that were frowned upon, but that was just one small part of a bigger world. However, there inevitably came a time when that world was shattered. My father fell ill with a terrible disease. Something not even the technology in the Ark could cure. Unsurprisingly, chaos ensued regarding who would be his successor. It felt as if outsiders were invading and crossing our boundaries. The organization was being targeted both from the inside and out. That's when my once pristine world became tainted. My father had arranged everything, except for a proper successor. He had sired many children, but they knew little of what was going on, and they paid for it with their own lives. I didn't want to ruin the world my father had built. But I was just a weak little girl. I didn't stand a chance of holding back those invaders who had breached our walls with weapons in hand. So, I had to become a weapon myself. On the day my father's eyes closed for the last time, I decided to become a NIKKE by my own hand. Isn't that difficult? All I had to do was thrust the silver dagger that I had into my chest. Things got easier after that. No one was more familiar with this world than I. I knew I was capable of outsmarting the intruders. Now that I had a body that would never deteriorate or tire, it would be easier. Even the subordinates who had served my father remained and swore loyalty to me. My world was safe and would live on. After becoming the head of the organization, I took in my surroundings and saw that everything had been neatly arranged for me beforehand. Loyal subordinates, a luxurious mansion, influence in the underworld. The organization's prestige. I didn't have to lift a finger. There was nothing left for me to desire, for I already had everything. I was the organization, and the organization was me. None. The organization exists for me, and I exist for the organization. It was an entire world of my own, isolated from everything and everyone else. However, far from that being a point of contention, I found it incredibly satisfying. Yes. I feel the desire to bring you into my world, but I know it is impossible. You would only end up destroying it. I'm part of a criminal organization. You are an aspiring go-getter working for the central government, the future savior of the Ark. Us being together doesn't make any sense. It's a matter of origin. I've gone to the dark side, and you're out there in the light. No, perhaps there is some gray to you. That's why I can't stop myself from desiring you. If you were entirely on the good side of things, I could have suppressed my feelings. Sometimes I think, since you live in a world of gray, perhaps there is a chance of you coming to the dark. But then there are other days when I think there's no chance of that happening. That's why I keep wavering. Should I set my world afire for your sake? You always say what I want to hear. You know this is an impossible situation. It's outlandish enough to the point where I've taken to believing in superstitions involving pink dolphins. I want to acquire the object of my desire without making any real changes to my life. How desperately I desire you. But in the end, superstitions are just that, and nothing more. Even so, I'm wavering. I'm willing to do anything to have you. I would even turn my back on the organization. But I must be patient. I must wait for the day when I find a way to have you and the organization both. I'm only satisfied when I can have everything I want. Call it a personal flaw. So please, wait for me. Stay where you are, like a beautiful photo. Someday, when I am certain I can have everything I want on my own terms, I will take you as mine. Until then, I will not waver. The moon is beautiful. Oh, the night is still long. Spend a bit more time with me, please. I believe I have informed you before, but I do not have the habit of sharing what is mine. Since you have entered my heart, everything of yours now belongs to me.